Hello and welcome to the first video of the 5th season of the PBO. Yes, it is that time again where we have drafted, and now I have to go down the wonderful rabbit hole of why and how I've ended up with these wonderful Pokemon for us to play with. Yes, hello, welcome. If you do not know, we are the Abyss Vagrants, and we are in the PBO. Yeah. And if you don't know what PBO is, it's a Pokemon Draft League. If you don't know what that is, basically, TLDR, we draft a specific amount of mons. So let's say, you know, this season it was 10 to 11. And every week, we try to make the best possible team from our set drafted team, I guess the opponent's set drafted team, and obviously we can see each other's teams. It is on a dock for all to see, and then we can figure that out and try to see who comes with the best prep and the best tech to beat each other. So that's like super TLDR a vision of Pokemon Draft League. Anyway, but yes, we are the Abyss Vagrants, and this week, oh my goodness, I wouldn't say this season. I mean, this season is the 5th, and we will break down the mons that we got. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first, we drafted Masquerada. Masquerada is an incredibly powerful Pokemon, like incredibly good right now, and it's only gotten better with the DLC. It got Triple Axle from the DLC. It has knockoff, has U-turn, it has Sucker Punch, it has Flower Trick, which is a stab move, which gets to always crit, so that means that we get to go through defense boosts and attack drops from our side. So having an auto crit move is very powerful. It has an incredible move pool, right? It even has good support moves and spikes and toxic spikes. It even has taunt, and U-turn, knockoff, good support moves like we said before. Sucker Punch, Play Rough, like it's a whole swirl of moves, very good. Has Protean, a complete fire ability. This mon is truly worthy of first pick. I'm surprised we got a first pick. We were 13 out of 14 people on the list, so it was snake draft format. So the first round came down to us, and we were 13 out of 14 people, and then 14 picked back to back, and then we got to pick again. So there was a lot of good mons, obviously, with the new second DLC dropping. Like, there's a lot of good mons, right? Dragapult, Valiant, Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt, Darkrai was allowed, Spectrier, Qianpao, Qianyu, oh my goodness, Qianpao. Bunch of fantastic mons, right? Open. I didn't know we were going to get in 13, and we were very low on the draft pick. Picking up Masquerada is fantastic. We have 123 speed tier on this mon. Fantastico. Very good. Very good. So let us outspeed over the base 120s and stuff, so that's awesome. And this one's gonna be a fantastic wall breaker, fantastic revenge killer, fantastic just disruptor. It's just gonna punch holes through people's teams. It's very hard to switch into. I'm very excited to use Masquerada this season. Hopefully we can do well, because every time I play against this mon, this thing completely beats my face in, so hopefully we can load up with something that gets us a dub. Now, for round 2, like I said, we were basically one pick off of the round pick, so guy picked back to back and then up to us. So we got pick on, basically we got first crack on second pick, or second crack, I guess. So what did we pick? Well, I was like, let's go with another very powerful mon that plagues the OU tier currently. I want a ground type, I want a flying type, I want hazards galore, so my Muscular does not draw on hazards all the time. So I picked up the GOAT himself, Gliscor. Gliscor is a very good mon. This mon is impeccable. Toxic, knockoff, U-turn, spikes, stealth rocks, toxic spikes. Boom, easy, so good. Right? Facade, good damage, SD, amazing. This thing can be Fizz Def, cannot die from the physical side. It can be Spadef, cannot die from any side. Is very strong, very powerful. And, you know, it is a quintessential glue Pokemon. It basically can come every week with minimal punish. It forces random monster on ice moves, which they may or may not want to run into my team anyway. It has, you know, 2 immunities, a fantastic defensive typing, and then we can still run SD knockoff, we can still run SD facade and EQ, like it comes with offensive options as well. It's a powerful status mod with Toxic. I'm very excited to use Gliscor. It's a mod I've been using for a long time in my personal battles, but like on the ladder and stuff, you know, my personal life, you know. I'm a huge fan of Gliscor, and I cannot wait to use it. It should be very good. Next up, I was like, oh, I need a bulky water, so we picked up Alomomola off the rip. I thought Alomomola plus Gliscor would make an incredible fucking core. I think this core is like creme de la creme. Like, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful, very sexy core. Right, Regenerator, fantastic. This one is very strong on the ladder again right now because of flip turn. It gets worse and then you flip turn out, and there's not a lot of counterplay. Similar to Gliscor, it can be ran, because of its high HP stat, it can be ran with mixed defense investment very frequently. Very frequently. So it can be physically defensive or just enough speed to live a specific move, regen out, pivot. It's a very good pivot mon, right? It has healing wish as well, which would be nice for stuff like Masquerada. If we go ham early in the late game, we bring it back so we can go ham again. It has Scald, which not every water type gets. So Scald, flip turn wish, healing wish. It's kind of the vibe I'm on with the mon. It is relatively a one trick pony. It does one thing, but damn, does it do that one thing very well. Very similar to Vaporeon that we had back in Season 2 when we won the league. You know, shameless plug, Season 2 champ, it's me. Very similar to Vaporeon. It's Baton Pass, flip turn, so we shouldn't be, nothing should really stop us from getting up on out of there, getting a regen turn, passing our wishes off to people. And I'm just making sure I'm looking at his move pool. It has very random moves, right? I got a Alluring Voice, which is pretty good. So like, if someone wants to set up on a bulky, some would say passive mon, then Alluring Voice can try to punish with confusing them. So that would be very nice. You got that with the DLC. Everyone knows about Miyako. It's Whirlpool and stuff, so it gets some unique support moves, but all in all, it's a support mon. It pairs very nice with Gliscor, eating the water and ice hits exquisitely well, and then Gliscor obviously eating electric hits immune, and then there's very few grass moves that will ever kill Gliscor, so all in all, it's an exquisite mon that pairs beautifully with Gliscor. Alright, next up is Alcremie, which yes, I did pick a mon. If you're doing the math and counting, you can see our remaining point total went from 800 to 750, so that was kind of weird. Yes, Alcremie is a 50-point mon, which in our league is kind of equivalent to 5. Like it's very like, it's less than mid. Like if mid is 9, then like Alcremie is like, if mid is halfway, Alcremie is like, I don't know, man, 35 or something, or or 40 or something. Like it's like 40%. If mid is 50%, Alcremie is 40%. It is a very unique mon to pick up at 4. This is probably a good time to tell you guys, due to some life things and helping some other people out, I did not really have a lot of time to plan, or my planning didn't really happen. So going Masquerada, Gliscor, Alomomola off rip, off the dome, no planning, I thought was pretty good. And then on round 4, which is when the pick was coming back down the line, so the majority of people have already picked the mons, not the 14th guy picking back to back and then me getting a very, very fresh crack at the board. I didn't know what to pick in that situation, so I just picked Alcremie. I was very excited to pick up Alcremie because Alcremie is one of our Terra captains for this season, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. So Alcremie with the DLC has some unique things. Its ability, Aroma Veil, makes it so it can't be taunted, encored, heal blocked, any shenanigans like that, which is very cool. And now you might be saying, oh, why? Well, why is that so cool? Because this mon gets Recover, just flat out Recover, which is good. This mon gets Calm Mind, awesome, great. and it gets acid armor, so it gets to double dance, can't be taunted, can't be encored. Very cool. It then gets stored power, Draining Kiss, Giga Drain, and then with Terra Blast with coverage, I thought, oh, like this will give us a good shout. After further inspection on my draft, which you guys will see later in the video, I've kind of come to the conclusion that as good as Alcremie is, and as fun as Alcremie will be, because it was so fun to use, I do have a little bit of questions about how frequently I'll bring Alcremie, just because, as a Terra Captain, because again, pure Fairy typing has 120 Spit F, 121 Spit F, like it's very, very specially bulky, which is good. Like it's again, very generic Fairy type. It's not bad. It's just there. Good support mon. You know, soaks the hits, which is nice. But for offensive purposes, I think Alcremie will be pretty niche when it comes to like matchups and whatnot, and that's okay. These kind of mons that like I think have a lot of potential, but may be too niche to come every week, especially with a Terra Captain involved. In this situation, I call them flyer mons, you know, like taking a flyer from someone, because I swear to God, there will be matchups in this season where I bring out Alcremie and I acid armor once into 2 Calm Minds and I win the game. I think the mon is going to be very, very hard to interact with for some drafts. Albeit, I picked it round 4, so I'm assuming that's the case. But again, with Terra types, I think it'll be perfectly fine. Like, I think it'll be perfectly PG, which is awesome. I think that's really cool. But unfortunately, you'll see my other Terra Captains, which one is after this and one is round 7, I believe. With my other Terra Captains, they are so good, or like so generically good, they always have value. Well, very often will have value, that like I think Alcremie will be kind of on the back burner. But when Alcremie does come, she's gonna put in the work, okay? That's all I have to say. Anyway, so with that explanation out the way, why you see a 50-point mon, Alcremie, at pick 4. Meanwhile, people are picking up, yeah guys, I think I need to pick up an Ogerpon. I need to pick up Hydreigon. I need to pick up Salamence. You know, like when these people are doing this shit, I'm picking up my rank 50, my point 50-point mon, because I'm a gangster like that. No, anyway, so back to Alcremie. So yes, the Terra types for this mon. I thought about it long and hard, and I thought about coverage moves. So coverage moves like something like maybe Fire, because it does have Mystical Fire right now. In previous generations, I got Mystical Fire, very good coverage. So I thought about that. But Fire defensively is such a unique type and not the best. I thought it was Steel. Steel is generically very good, but it doesn't give us a lot of coverage either, so that's not great. And I don't really want them on that, like, oh, my coverage move is Steel. They go into that Fire type and they resist Draining Kiss and they resist Terra Blast. Like, it doesn't seem great, right? So instead, I decided to opt for much more defensive typing that will give us unique coverage. So the first one is Water. Water is very nice. That's just set up on the Steel moves. Very generic. And then most grass types are not very strong mons, right? Like, when I think of grass types, I think of Masquerada, which is very strong, but we have it, so no problem about that. I think about Superior, which is true. Again, Superior is kind of strong, but with the 120 defense on this thing, we won't die. I think it's so Superior, and then I think about a lot of support mons, and a lot of support mons will be slower, because this thing is like 64 speeds, 65 speeds, so it's pretty close, and we should be able to knock it out with something. So grass is not a big deal. Electric, these ones are strong, but most of them are specially offensive, and so we should be able to navigate that as well, I think. And water is just a generically good typing. It gives us another water type to go along with Alomomola, if we so deem that water is a very good defensive type against them. The next one is a little more unique, and that is because we don't actually have this type, I would say raw. We don't have this type on any of our base Pokemon. It's not a base type on our team. I opted for Poison. Poison is super unique. I know there's a bunch of store power poison mons out there, stuff like Cresselia that Terra like this, very uniquely, right? Even Sinister, the teapot, no, yeah, the Machagachamon, the Sinister, it can Terra Poison as well. Latias, similar. And these mons obviously have like levitate and stuff, and so it's a little different, but I think this is very good because like we don't have a poison type on the roster, so I'll just take a care of spikes, and generically being able to resist poison moves coming out, being able to resist fighting moves is still nice. And again, if there were niche situations, like if there's niche matchups for Alcremie, I think from base form Alcremie, from the fairy type base form, I think there will be even more specific niche matchups where, because of these Terra types, we'll be able to get more out of it. So maybe instead of only coming to 20% of the battles, Alcremie comes 30, 35 or something like this, right? It might just increase the value a little bit. Again, in theory, we never actually have to Terra this mon if we don't want to, because it is fairy type, very good typing. So that's Alcremie. That is our probably only shiny mon we're going to run this season, because we drafted some ugly ass shinies. Some ugly shinies. So yes, that is Alcremie, our round 4 pick. I cannot believe I decided to pick up this mon round 4, but I am excited to use it. Hopefully it goes well. So that was 4th pick on our way down. I guess for you guys it's on our way down. Then some 14th pick back to back, and then I got to pick again, fresh new like look at the board, and I was like, oh, you know what my team needs? A dragon type. I don't have one of those. And so I went with Hydrapple, a new mon from the DLC. I was like, oh, that's cool. I think Hydrapple is good. More importantly, Hydrapple forms a regenerator core with Alamomola. So now we have Gliscor plus Gliscor plus regenerator core. Very powerful. And with Fickle Beam, it only gets stronger. 30% of the time, 160 base power. Nice. Nice. Dude, the camera is weird when I try to thumbs up. Anyway, it's fun. Nice, right? This one is actually, I think it'd be very good. It has a very good stat spread to where like I think I'd be able to EV to live a lot of things. Has a very unique typing. When I drafted it, I thought it was like Appleton. I thought I had an option for thick fat. I thought it was thick fat, the syrup ability and regenerator. I didn't realize that sticky hold. So I was like, oh, I'm not that weak to ice. I am that weak to ice. Can confirm. We now have 4 we now have 4 times weaknesses to ice, so that's a yikers. But other than that, it's fine. But yes, this is our dragon type. I think it'd be very good. The regenerator core is very awesome. This thing gets Dragon Tail for support, it gets Yawn for support, Draco Media, Fickle Beam, Leaf Storm, Earth Power, Hydro Pump, like very strong moves. Nasty Plot as well if we just want to set up and go. I think this mon will be good AV, this mon will be good specs, this mon will be good boots, this mon will be, I think, a very good berry holder, because like most of the time when you use a berry, you cut the incoming attacking by half. So you really only take anywhere from like maximum you take 40%, but I would say on average you probably take 30%, right? You probably take 30% from a super effective hit when you have a berry, given your investment in the mons and stuff. So the fact that I can run a berry, live the hit, probably kill him on the crackback, and then just switch out, get my regenerator turn up, that's amazing. Like, I think it's very powerful. This mon is gonna be very fun to use. I really hope that we continue to I hope we get the 30% of Fickle Beam a lot, because that'd be very fun. Anyway, that's Hydrapple, that's a regenerator core. It would be very fun. What's up next? So next up is our second Terra Captain, Electrode. So Electrode is our Terra Captain. This one's very generic. It's just electric spam. It's not fancy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's whatever. It's fine. You all know what Electrode does. It just clicks electric moves. But with Terra, we can make it boom, Terra Ice. We have perfect coverage now. That's very powerful, very awesome. And then our second Terra type for Mr. Electrode here is Fairy. Now, it could have been Grass, but Grass is only good for like a couple matchups. It's like whatever. I think Fairy is better generically because this mon actually has 2 decent abilities in draft format, right? Static and Aftermath is pretty good. So if I just get a generically good typing, which is Fairy, right? And then with all the extra EVs this Pokemon usually runs, because it's so much faster than most mons in the game, that I would just be bulkier than your average fast electric type. Make this mon a Fairy, I think I would live a couple hits. It's not great. I'm not saying I'm a tank, I'm not saying it's beautiful, but if I need to get hit twice by like a Hyperspace Fury or something to, you know, pray for a 50-50 on the static procs, because when you 30 and 30 twice is 50 when you do the math of percents and whatnot, I think that's not bad. I think that's okay. And same with Aftermath. The fact that this mon can like turn Fairy, resist a move, do some damage, and then die the following turn, do 25% or something like this, like I think it's okay. It's just a generically good typing. It also lets us gives us a little more aggressive switch-ins if like maybe they have a dragon type or something that we just want the defensive type to be immune to or something. Overall, it's kind of just a throwaway. If I don't like it, I might change it if I can, but I think it's generically okay. I think it's okay. It's not great, it's okay. But in general, Electrode is relatively good. It pairs well with Masquerada. It's a Volt turn core. As you guys can see, we have a lot of initiative, right? Masquerada on U-turn, Glasgow on U-turn, Alamola on Flip turn and Baton Pass, Electrode on Volt Switch. So this is all nice, right? A lot of momentum to get our Regenerator mons in and try to like get our regen turns. So I think this is pretty good so far. Next up, I believe, is a mon that I'm unbelievably excited to use. This was probably the only thing I really prepped for. Like, first pick, I was like, oh, I probably should get something good, like Darkrai or Masquerada. Round 7, I believe, I was like, okay, like, I need this mon. I think this mon is a fantastic Terra Captain. Because right now we have 2 Terra Captains, we have 1 more we can pick. I think it is. I would look a fool if it's not the case. It is. My goat. So as you guys can see, we're pretty heavy on special attackers right now. With, like, our creamy Hydrapple Electrode. So, and I don't know, it's like kind of fake, right? It's not really an attacker. So I was like, okay, I want Hariyama. I think Hariyama is fantastic. This is going to be our 3rd and final Terra Captain. And the big thing about Hariyama for me is that he, because of Hariyama's HP stat, and it's, you can EV it very specifically, which is awesome. It has fantastic coverage, which we'll get to in a minute. And more importantly for me, Hariyama is one of the few Pokemon in the game that has 3. All three. You see that? 3. All 3 amazing abilities. Like, they're just good abilities. Okay, ready? Hariyama's abilities are Sheer Force, Thick Fat, and Guts. Those are 3 fantastic abilities in draft. Fantastic. So, Hariyama. Hariyama is amazing. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a fantastic wall breaker for us. It's going to give us a great pivot as well. This mon can be banded. It can be scarfed. Probably not scarfed. Let's calm down. Anyway, it could be scarfed, I guess. But anyway, this mon could be AV. It could be boots. It can be leftovers. It can be punching glove. It can be life orb with sheer force. This mon gets, like, obviously close combat. It gets bullet punch, knockoff, ice punch, fire punch, thunder punch, rock slide, headlong rush. It gets earthquake too, but no one cares about that. Headlong rush. We are Great Tusk, motherfucker. That's us. We are him. You know what I'm saying? Fantastic mon. I'm super excited to use this mon. This mon with Terra, right? If I show you the Terra types, first one is Steel. Okay. Steel, I think, is very good, especially because with Thick Fat, it means that Thick Fat will essentially remove our weakness to fire. So then we are just neutral to fire. So now we're only weak to two types. So that's pretty good. So it's just a very nice bulky mon with Steel typing, and the next one is Fairy. Yes, I have 2 Terra Fairy mons and another Fairy mon that can Terra. We are pro Fairy in this on this team, but with Terra Fairy, you get some crazy combos. This Pokemon really punches above its weight, which is a lot to say because this thing looks fat as hell. But this one punches above its weight when it comes to like caliber of Pokemon 1v1ing and checking and beating, if that makes sense. Like, this Mon beats a whole slew of Mons, okay? This Mon beats Chi-Yu, Chien-Pao, Baxcalibur, Dragapult, okay? So those are four. Those are four. It beats Gouging Fire. It beats, let me think. Let me pull up a list. Gouging Fire. That's the last one I remember saying. Where is this? Okay. Right? It beats Valiant 1v1. It beats King Gambit 1v1. It will beat Roy Moon 1v1. I think it can beat Tusk. I would have to run some calcs and stuff, but I'm pretty sure we can beat Tusk. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we can beat Ape. We can beat Greninja. We can beat what is that Mon called? Oh, I forgot. Anyway, if it comes to me, I'll get on my trip. Oh, I'll get on my shit. I'll talk mad shit. But anyway, you get the idea, right? Like, this Mon, for being a 70-point Mon, this Mon punches unbelievably above its weight class. It is so good. I'm not saying it's broken. I'm not saying it shouldn't be allowed. I'm just saying, like, I think this Mon is an incredible Terra Captain. I'm very excited to use it. It's 120 attack, 144 HP. It's a big beefy boy. I'm very excited to use it. I'm very excited. Okay, anyway. Very good, very good, very good, very good, very good. Now, round 8. So round 8 was coming. The draft was kind of coming to a close. Everyone kind of got what they wanted. And at this point, I was kind of like, oh, like, imagine if I picked Heatran, right? Imagine having Heatran, Alomomola, Hydrapple, Gliscor, 4 Mons. Because that would also complete our Fire, Water, Grass core and our Dragon Fairy Steel core, right? And we have, like, some pretty good grass types. And so I was like, okay, so we should look for that. I think 3 or 4 people above me, and then it got sniped for me. And I was like, oh, unlucky. Heatran's gone. My GOAT Heatran happened. Again, I was not super committed to Heatran. I was just like, oh, that would be like Biss. Falls to my pick. I look at my team. I'm like, okay. We have a lot of hazards. Like Gliscor and Muscarada are very good at putting up hazards, right? So I was like, oh, like we need a spin block is always good to have. And again, we have a pretty bulky team right now. And so people want to set up on me and do stuff. Then I saw the 140 Mon, I believe it was 140. The 140 Mon sitting there. Oh, smug like, chilling on the fire. You know, he's chilling, having a good time. I looked at him. He looked at me, and we had a moment. And I was like, you? He was like, we meet again. You use me all the time on the ladder because you're a filthy degenerate who doesn't want to lose to Valiant. And I say, yes, I know, but you can't Terra. How am I gonna beat the roaring moons of the world with you? He said. Don't worry about that. I have it covered. I said, really? Yeah, who? And I know that's what you're asking, viewer. Who? And it's him. It's Skeledirge. I'm a big fan of Skeledirge. Bro, I'm so like, ugh. I'm losing it, boys. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Skeledirge. Huge fan of Skeledirge. So, me and Skeledirge go all the way back to the, last year in the sandbox when he came out. Huge fan of this Mon. It's a fantastic ghost type, very good ghost spinner. Good ghost type to block spin. It's a fire type. And this completes our Fire, Water, Grass core, right? Which is either a pseudo-offensive, like, anti-setup core with Alomomola, Skeledirge, Muscarada, or it's regen plus Unaware Mon. It's great. It's pretty good. Not to mention, Skeledirge, similar to something like Gliscor, even Hydrapple with Nasty Plot, these Mons, like, they are bulky, they stick around, they're for sure a nuisance, but like, if you get to turn 60, turn 70 in a game, maybe 1 or 2 Mons are dead on the enemy team, You know, everything is at 60 to 40%. They come in on hazards, take some more chipped, items are knocked off. You know, a lot of shit has happened in the game. In these like messy game states or very drawn out game states, stuff like Gliscor with SD and Skeledirge with Torches on really cook. Like really cook. Not to mention, they're also very good against opposing stall because he's boosting as he's being defensive, while like something like a Blissey is kind of just AFK. Has to call mind and stuff, which is a whole different situation, right? So that's awesome. It's a mon with Hex and Will-O-Wisp, so it helps us cripple mons and do damage to them as well. This thing got Alluring Voice as well, has, I believe it gets Scorching Sands, but for sure has Earth Power for good coverage. Is very cool. It'd be very funny if we could get Kokwavo and then we could have all 3 starters, but we don't because we're bad. But that's okay. Kokwavo is pretty broken. Anyway, so yes. Yes, that is the case. We did pick up Skeledirge, and that's very cool and very awesome. I'm a big fan of Skeledirge. Similar to Gliscor and Alomomola, very good mixed defensive mon. Alrighty, so that's Skeledirge. My goats. Okay, what is next? Oh, I believe so my last mon, so my next mon, I looked at our team and I was like, okay, I don't have a spinner, which is pretty bad against when you play a bulkier structure, because there's a lot of people who just run spikes, man. But we have 2 really good spikers, so we don't have to play against them. But you know, obviously someone will have Hisui and Samurott, and someone will have Skarmory, right? And so spikes do exist, and so obviously we want a spinner to try to deter that for good reason. So we will come to that point later because we have Keldeo. So Keldeo is interesting. So Keldeo is our other water type. Keldeo is here basically because I feel like our team, as bulky as it is, and it gets Masquerada probably in a lot, for example, I want another mon that can just come in, click a button, do damage. It's a very binary mon, right? Keldeo, we all know Keldeo. Very one-trick pony mon. It's either Scarf Specs, clicks Hydro Pump, message your team up, click Sacred Sword, message your team up. The thing about Keldeo in this generation, when I came back with the second DLC, is it gets flip turn now. So more initiative for the boys. More initiative for the boys, which is very nice. And offensively, again, this mon is so good. Like, only one person has Dragapult. Even then, Dragapult takes like, 30-40% depending on investment if I'm specs or not, right? Only one person has Slowking, right? And so that's the thing. There will be a lot, I think there will be a lot of teams where like, I will click Hydro Pump and I will get a kill. Or I will do 50%. And I think that is very powerful with Keldeo. Being 108 speed as well is very nice. Speed ties an amorous eye, for example. And this one also got Vacuum Wave in the DLC, so that's also very strong. This one also has priority now too, which makes specs even better. So that's what Keldeo is, just a generic breaker. It's more flip turn action, so if people can just start racking up, taking hazard damage, take some flip turn action from Alomomola and Keldeo, then I feel pretty good about this game. Well, this season I should say. So that was Keldeo. Okay, so I believe the next one is our spinner to be, and as well we are lacking at this point in the draft. There was not a lot of spinners left. Like, spinners are very hard to come by, guys. So I like, you have like the unique things like Ferret, Mousehold, Cincino, Otidiamons. Cinderace is gone, by the way, and I don't love defog when like we have very good hazard setters, so I don't really want to last 10 years setting up hazards. I don't want to spend 12 turns setting up hazards and then defogging them away to do it again. It's not great. It's not my favorite. So I wanted a spinner. There's really only one left I could see, and it is Fortress, which does complete our Fairy Dragon Steel Core, which is cute. And I'm not gonna lie, Fortress plus Alomomola or Fortress plus Skeledirge, any of these two mons, a very powerful core, right? Like, the one weakness the guy has, not very real. Anyway, even like Fortress plus like Alcremie is like a pretty good combo. If it has 140 defense, Alcremie is 120 speed F, like they kind of work together. Anyway, so Fortress is here. He's our spinner. Like, as lame as it is, he's not the best spinner, but he's there. He also gets a Volt Switch, more pivot action, very cool. But this guy, same as Gliscor, gets Rocks, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. All 3. Maybe we can get an Iron Defense, Body Press, Cheese if I want to. His Overcoat, so bless up. But other than that, sturdy overcoat. It runs very generic. We all know what Fortress does. He's basically just here to be a physical wall. Does decent. He does do decent damage now because of body press with his 140 defense, and gyro ball is very good as well. He's 90 attack, so 90 attack coming off of about 120, 140, whatever gyro ball's base power is, when Fortress is, I think it's like 40 40 speed. Like, it does decent damage, so that's cool. And he did get pain split back as well, I believe, in the DLC. He for sure has pain split now, so that's good. It means that he can stick around for a little bit longer as well. So there's some good stuff that have improved Fortress's viability. He's not the best, but he's a spinner, so shout out to Fortress, my goat. Welcome to the squad, baby. And finally, lastly, I was like, I didn't know what to do, because I feel like our team is honestly pretty decent. It's like a semi-stall vibes currently, and I was like, that's cool. I don't think Fortress can come to every game, so we might have a hazard problem. And I was like, okay. Very similar, you know, I referenced Season 2 when we won with Vaporeon wish passing doing bullshit. That faithful season, we were in a very similar position. We had one spinner and Toad Scroll Season 2. Okay? I was like, oh, we're kind of weak to it. We're kind of weak to hazards. Maybe we should pick something that might, you know, help us deal with that, or, you know, have some interaction into that. And lonely 20-point Mon. I believe 20 points, or 10, or whatever the fuck. I think it was 10 back in the day. I see a little NFE. A little pink NFE, which I knew oh so very well from stories from its mama, because I'm a huge fan of its mother. She's probably a MILF, to be honest, not gonna lie. Psychotic MILF that mind controls you, but probably a MILF nonetheless. And I was like, I guess I'll take a flyer on you. So if Alcremie was our flyer for this season, Season 2 flyer was for sure Hatchram. But alas, as you guys can see, we're not picking fucking Hatchram if we have 140 points left. That's psychotic. Because we just need some kind of hazard control. So back in Season 2, we made, you know, little baby action, little baby Hatterene, you know, little baby Hatchram there, a champion. Mama was so proud. Wow, you're so amazing. How could you do this for my child? You're the best. And then, you know, a couple months later, 3 seasons later, we're sitting in Season 5 draft. 140 points left. I didn't know what to do. I made a phone call. I pulled up Prices Right. I called a friend. And all my boys from the winning room, you know, I got them all in the text chain. And little Hatterene said, Hatterene, there's too many hats. Anyway, little Hat said, hey, made me a champ. How about you make my mama a champ too? I said, hey, no problem. I'll hook your family up for life. So as you guys can see, Hatterene is our final pick of the draft. A little magic bounce mod never hurt nobody. So, yes, it's true. It is true. We're trying to run back the magic bounce shenanigans we did in Season 2. I will say, in Season 2, we brought Hatchram to, I think, 4 battles or something. We got 2 6-0s with it. Wait, did we get 2? No, we got 3 6-0s. We got 3 6-0s with it. So, you know, surely it can't be that bad, you know. But this time we actually have this one who's actually a fairy type, which is very good. So, I'm pretty excited to use Hatterene. I'm a huge fan of Hatterene. The whole meme about Hatchram and stuff came from this mon, because like I'm a huge fan of Hatterene. Like, I love Hatterene. I love this mon. I think this one's awesome. It is a mon that combines, you can't status it. It's awesome. It is a mon that can run AV and Nuzzle. So it's AV and still paralyzes you. Love it. Gets Mystical Fire, gets Giga Drain, Future Sight, Psyshock, Psychic, Shadow Ball. Gets amazing coverage. It has a Shice type and very psychic, you know, Lily typing, super Shice. and it has like 95 defense, 1 or 2 split F. It's pretty bulky, and then the low total HP number is really good for draining kills. Like, it has a lot of good things going on for hat. Even like Suicide League Trick Room hat is like pretty good, right? I'm a huge fan of fucking Adamine. I love it. So if we can win with dog shit Hatchram, surely we can make his mama proud. Then surely we can make the mama herself a champ as well. So that would be shiest. Anyway, that is our team for this 5th season of the PBO. It looks pretty good, you know, pretty bulky, pretty powerful, big strong boys. Bring home the dub for the squad here. But yes, that is the roster for the Abbotsford Agrons for the 5th season of the PBO, and I'm pretty excited to play. We got some shiest mons on here. We have a lot of tools on this team, so I'm really excited to use it. Yeah, and with that, I think I'll guys see you in the next video, which will be a week one battle against Mr. Sunny Sasweekun himself. I know if you're caught up on the lore of the PBO, do we have beef? Do we not have beef? You'll soon find out. But that is for next week. Or the next video, I should say. I don't know if it'll be next week. It'll be the next video. So tune into that, find out if we got fucking beef or not. You know, real Canada on Canada action. That's all I gotta say. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah, stick around, subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah, see you guys then. See you. Bye.